be able to substantiate or articulate certain ideas or concepts based on research that come from hard work and time in these trenches or whatever,
Hmm.
or whatever experience you have. A lot of people just don't aren't interested in having those conversations.
Remember at the beginning of this conversation when I said that there's two types of listeners, and that one of them are people that's typically more interested in whether or not it's actually true, and then the other group is more interested in how what you're saying makes them feel. What you're doing, what used to do a lot, is I'm so focused on the outcome and is it true or not, that I was forgetting that second piece. That there are people who, if you don't address how they're feeling and how you're making them feel with what you're saying and your tone and how you're coming at them, they're hitting them with the facts isn't going to make them believe it. I have to address what's the emotional block for why you're not willing to receive this information. It could be timing. It could be me because I'm a man saying it versus a woman saying it. It's a whole host of things. So I don't take it personal. I'll give you an example right now. For Black women specifically, modern feminism, which they got from white women, is a greater risk to Black men in the Black community than racism today in 2025.
She's shaking her head.
No, that's fine. She's allowed to. She's allowed
No,
to.
no. I just historically, I just be reacting historically.
Hmm.
Feminism is not from white women. Feminism is from white women appropriating black women's movement for civil rights. So I want us to be very, very clear. The women's suffrage movement, which is known as feminism right now, was appropriated, was stolen from the black women when the black women started the civil rights movement, because we were fighting for everyone's rights, minorities' rights. So that's why I'm shaking my head. I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying, but that's why I don't like being called a feminist, because of the
Hmm.
history of that word. That's all I'm saying.
No problem. Yeah. So a couple things. I specifically use white feminism for a reason because I think that there was a very actually I'll read a quote. The nuclear family must be destroyed, and people must find better ways of living together. The breaking up of families now is an objectively revolutionary process. Linda Gordon, socialist feminist. That ideology and the women who back when we look back at the time when white women specifically kind of like you said started to take over the feminist movement and direction and they started to infiltrate the other communities, um, the percentage of women that was against feminism was greater than the women that were for it significantly.
They were called the anti-suffragettes.
Anti-suffragettes. So my question is, if feminism came, it is here. White women had their version and spin on it. It was influenced heavily and propagated by the CIA. And today we have the current outcomes that we do. My question is, if you had to choose between the feminism that it's morphed into and is currently present or Black men and what they are saying about how the direction of our community has to be, which are you going to choose? Because all this back and forth and all this, we'll put it all on the table right here. We'll put it all on the table right here. All the eloquence and all the talk and everybody's respecting each other, that's cool and all. But you're actually at some point going to have to make a choice in terms of the decisions that's brought us here, in terms of the direction of our community. You actually are, you do realize that your decisions, your choices and your actions have helped contributed to the single mother household. Your decisions have contributed to the 7 point something million babies that's been aborted as of now. Between the abortions, between the single mother households, between being the most divorced and least married, if every single outcome is getting worse every decade, and you did the feminism thing, specifically their version of it, and then the men on the other side, because Asian men ain't checking for y'all. Hispanic men ain't trying to save the day for Black women. is a black man standing in front of you and saying, when you go home tonight and you wake up in the morning, which direction are we going to start to have to prioritize? Much of your talking points, not Bo specifically, I'm talking about women in general. If much of your talking points about what's the issue and what's broken and what's wrong with society all sounds like them third and fourth wave white feminists, that's the choices you've been making. You've made it clear whose voice of influence is going to be a priority in this community. And it's led to this outcome, what we have now. So if y'all want to get married, if y'all want to have stable relationships, if y'all want men to lead, guess who you're going to have to allow lead? Either black men who are qualified to speak on it, or white women who's led you to the current state of what your condition is now. You are worse now than you were during Reconstruction in almost every statistical form of measurement. So in terms of this conversation about has feminism gone too far, you're damn right. My view is there's a place for feminism, there's a place for equality, and there's a place for equity for women and for black women, but not defined by people that's outside of this community. Let's redefine what feminism and equality and equity looks like between us. Not people that came from the outside who tricked and used and manipulated our community to what we have and looks like today.